What is up, guys? Got a nice slate today. Got my boy Zach with me. What's going on?
What's up?
How many games
Much,
we got
man.
today? 8 games? 8 games.
8, yeah.
Lock 7 p.m. Eastern, both sites. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. We got some new looks for the stream today.
Very nice, very nice.
About
Let me
to
log
click
on.
over
Let me
here.
put Twitch.
Look at that. Bam.
Alright. Which game you want to talk about first?
Give me 1 second. Let me make sure. Okay.
No, you're good.
There we go. Make
Yeah,
sure
you're
we're all good there.
Everyone can get in here.
Yeah, we're good. We can go ahead and start, man. So, give me 1 second. Let me pull up the odds here. Alright, cool. Alright, man. First up, 8 games. Here we go. We got the Rockets taking on the
There's only one.
Hornets. Say that again?
I said there was only one game at 7, so I knew where you were going to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. So we got the Rockets taking on the Hornets. Rockets are favored 3.5 points, and the over-under is 223.5. What do you like from this game?
Alright, so we already got news that Devontae Graham is going to be out. That puts me all over Terry Rozier again. I played him on DK the other day. He's still too cheap. If he was 7K, it'd be different. He's 6,300. It's just too cheap. He's going to be able to get you 30. He's playing really well. He's playing minutes. This should be competitive. If he gets a full run yesterday, he hits 45 plus, like pretty easy, like upwards of 50. He lost like 6-7 minutes potentially in a fourth quarter. They blew out Washington. I expect this game to be more competitive, so I really like Rozier. LaMelo Ball at 8,300. I understand getting there. I think Oladipo could end up guarding him. I don't know though. Like John Wall's not the worst defender either. It's just I have a hard time paying 8,300 for LaMelo Ball on DK, and then even 7,800 on FanDuel's pretty stout. Just depends. If he's your last piece and you get there, I don't mind it, but he's definitely not like what I'm going after tonight. Really, it's Terry Rozier. I wouldn't mind getting to Cody Zeller a little bit, but you're again sacrificing a center spot, so it's more of a GPP thing there. Let's talk about DeMarcus Cousins just real quick. He's 7,100 on DraftKings. I think that's a fair price. This is a pretty good matchup for him. I expect him to be pretty overwhelming shock. I just don't know if we see 34 plus minutes or if we see like 30. Close game against San Antonio, you was foul trouble, you played 30, and that's what I kind of would project him for, is just 30 minutes flat on any given night without Christian Wood. And at that, he projects for like right at what he should get for 7,100. I think he's a really safe cash play, but in GBPs, I really understand fading his ownership, especially if it continues to be the highest on the slate. Fanduel's a little bit different. I haven't looked at all the centers, but he's 6K over there, so that's more of like, okay, I want more in tournaments. 7,100 on DraftKings, I think you really have to consider, does he get me 30 tonight? Like, if he gets you 33, let's just say he gets you 33, you're really happy with that on FanDuel. That's 5.5x. You're sitting pretty good, even if you're over the field on him. Of course, he's not getting 60 and you're like going crazy, but like I'm saying, if he gets 33 and then on DK he's gonna have some blocks and steals, so that helps his FanDuel upside. That could translate into him getting 30, and you're kind of pissed off because 7,100 is not enough. I think he's a really good cash play regardless. I'm just talking about in tournaments that I think you can get off of him at 7,100. And really, if you got off of him in cash, I don't hate it. I just think that I honestly have not started constructing lineups. I don't really do that like early in the day because there's too much news that's going to happen. But if it comes down to it and like you don't have Cousins on DraftKings in your cash lineup because other things are better throughout the day, that's fine. On FanDuel, I think you kind of just have to have him in your cash game lineup. There's not like, let me just look at the other centers, like price wise. You're not, yeah. I mean, like everybody above him, you're not. Yeah, it's DeMarcus Cousins over there. That's it. I can understand getting to Jokic in tournaments because he's playing a really competitive game. But it's Cousins on FanDuel without doubt. That should be your
6K.
100%
That's a
center
really
in
good.
cash. That's
Yeah.
not even a discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah, I like Rozier too, especially on FanDuel. He's 6,100. Um,
Both sides.
so PJ Washington's back, so that means Bridges will slide back to the coming off the bench, right?
Yeah, and I don't mind. Like, what is PJ Washington's price on
62 power
FanDuel? Like
forward.
62. I don't mind it. I don't mind him at 5,700 either. It's like Cousins. Like, he's gotten some blocks. He's gotten some steals. Overall, he's been a poor defensive center. And really dating back to a long time. He's a good offensive center that can get a block and get a steal and will get rebounds, that kind of stuff. But people, like good athletic centers, just skirt right by him into the basket. Like that's why he's never like he was really good in Sacramento because Sacramento hasn't had a good defensive center ever, so it doesn't really matter. Like Rashawn Holmes is actually their best defensive center I think they've had in a long time, just because he does play defense, but he fouls all the time. That's the problem. PJ Washington also has the foul trouble too and could foul bogey plenty, but if he gets minutes at the five, like he's obviously going to get some. But the thing is, I think PJ Washington could have a good night here. I don't expect many of the front court of Houston to be able to guard him well, but it's a good tournament option, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to see if I like anything else on this FanDuel side of things. Depot's 79. Zeller's priced at 58. I just want to take Cousins, not a question.
Yeah.
Wall's back, right? Yep. He's 74. I don't mind his price tag. 7,400. Kind of like that.
Sorry, I was just reading a thing about residency. I'm sorry. You said Wall 7,400. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I like his price.
It's a good price. We'll just have to see how the rest of the slate shakes out.
Sure.
If this game is competitive, which I expect it to be competitive, Charlotte has been a better team than I've given them credit for, but they've also been a poor team at times. Same thing with Houston. So this will probably be a 40-point blowout and one or the other way if I end up going heavy on this game. But 7,400 for Wall is fair. If it's competitive, I expect him to play like 34 minutes at the top end, probably. But Melo and Rozier really aren't going to guard him well, so I don't know. If it shakes out if the slate shakes out well, then sure I'm there. I just have to see what other point guards are going forward.
Yep, for sure. Anything stick out to you on DraftKings besides Cousins?
Nah, just Cousins. It's Rozier then Cousins, and that's about it from this game.
Yeah,
that sticks out.
Yeah, I like it too. We got any hot news coming in?
Nah, just Kyrie on track to play Tuesday, and Nicholas Claxton still out another 3 weeks.
Okay, cool. All right, man, we can move on. We've got the Raptors taking on the Grizzlies. The Raptors are 2-point favorites, and the over/under is 223.5.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about one thing real quick. He's not going to be a flashy play, but I really like him for tournaments. Remember, this Memphis team, everyone's just kind of just getting some amount of minutes, and they're riding hot hands and all this stuff. I think a really good GPP option is Kyle Anderson. And hear me out here. Small forward, power forward has been destroying Toronto all year. This is a perfect GPP spot to get a little bit over the field on Kyle Anderson if you're like max entering, or if you're even doing 20 lineups. I'd have like if he's probably getting like 5%. Have let's say 20 lineups. 2 is 10%. Have 4 lineups with him. Be at 20%, and you're 4x the field. I think he's just a really good option, just because of the matchup. He's getting plenty of points this year, so I really don't mind him for tournaments. For cash, way too risky. As for the rest of this game, again, I don't want to play anyone from Memphis. They're not getting minutes. It doesn't matter if the game's competitive or not. Like John Morant played 31 in a 9-point game against New Orleans. He played let's see, like he played 34 against Phoenix in a 4-point game, but like he hasn't done that since then. They've just been giving him like 29 minutes. Now 22 minutes in a blowout, 29 minutes in a blowout, 29 minutes in a I'd have to look at the game script for that one, but this 31, like I expected him to play more in that game. The game was close most of the time. Dave Al's also back. so that kind of hurts everyone. It does help their overall offense, but I think it assist side increases for a couple people, but it's besides that. VanVleet, Siakam, and Lowry are now priced up higher than I like them to, so I don't really like any of that either, even though this is a really good game. Another GBP option that I really, really like is Chris Boucher. This is another matchup that I think they could throw him out there. I started talking about it against Brooklyn. We didn't have a pot over the weekend, and I think this Atlanta Toronto game was an early slate anyway. I don't think it was on any main slate because I don't remember ever looking at this game. Actually, I'm positive it was an early game because I have both these people on my fantasy team, and they like kicked off at like 1 or 3 or something like that on Saturday. So this game, him getting 49 against Atlanta wasn't even available to play. But this Brooklyn, I told everybody, I was like, I think Chris Boucher could be in the GP winning lineup. I don't know if he was that night, but I had a crap ton of him. I think he was like 3% owned. I had 38%. So at 4,500, he got 32.75. I was ecstatic against Brooklyn. And I just said this is the kind of game that he could get more minutes. Pella, I wouldn't have probably been as like gung ho about it, but he was also 4,400. So if like for that slate, it was probably like an early slate, like a 2-gamer, then I would have definitely had Boucher. Honestly, obviously hindsight's 2020. I could say I'd have whatever of anybody, but 5,400. Again, this is a matchup that he should be able to get minutes in. I think you're not gonna see the 18, 19 minutes in, and I think you're gonna see more like 25 to 30, big range. But anywhere in that, I think I could see him. He's just a GPP play at 5,400. He's still too cheap for what he can do. He just got 49 yesterday. They're kind of been letting if he's hot, they kind of let him go too. That could have been what it was against Capella. So 5,400 is too cheap. Once he's up in 6K, I think you can start just like not thinking about him for GPPs. But on DraftKings, that's it for me. I don't want anything else to this game. Everyone's too priced up or not getting enough minutes, so I don't care about this game otherwise.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna flip over here to FanDuel and see what I'm seeing over here. Siakam's too priced up at 93.
I mean, that's ridiculous. 2 of them in the 9Ks. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's ridiculous.
Even Lowry at 83, I'm just be hard pressed to get there.
Joval's the only one, but then when you have Cousins at 6K, so
Sure, but Joval's not even getting all of his minutes yet. They're gonna slowly ramp him up.
he just can produce at 6,700. That's the only thing.
I really like Ja, 7,200. I don't mind him.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's price down. I just think it's a price thing.
I mean, but look. When is the last time like he's hit it? Like obviously he was doing well when he was getting huge minutes earlier, but since he's come back, he's hit that enough like to pay off this price tag once.
Yeah,
and
I see it. They're not giving him over 30 minutes, really.
That's the problem. I don't know how you can play these people in cash. I think he's a phenomenal GPP play, but like because he can get you 60, like that can happen. But for cash, it's okay. Even though we didn't have a pod yesterday, it's like Serge Ibaka yesterday. He was catching a crap ton of ownership, and people freaking played him at 5,800 on FanDuel. He got like 16 points. That's like, or 17, 18 points. That's the thing, though. You see a play like that, and it's chalky, and you're like, who the fuck is playing this? And we lost to the Roto Grinder idiots by 0.6 again yesterday on FanDuel, like 3 days in a row. But it's just like, obviously he can pop an optimizer, but it's just like Anthony Edwards early in the season. Who fucking looks at these plays and like, oh, that looks good? Like, if I ran an optimizer and it had fucking Serge Ibaka in it yesterday, I'm like, this is trash. Let me X out Serge Ibaka and run this again. If that's all you're doing, like, just be smart. Like, holy shit. It's like the stupidest crap. I'm not saying John Morant's in that category, but still right now, if I ran an optimizer and the first thing that pumped out was John Morant, I'm probably going to be like, no, I'm going to X out John Morant just for this cash. Obviously, you're going to keep him in for GPP, but it's not a good cash play because you have no idea of minutes. Like, Toronto, yes, has not been good on defense, but like I still overall respect the veteran Lowry against Ja. Fred VanVleet's been getting steals and blocks. Like, I can't get there in cash. I probably can't do it. But if he ends up in my cash lineup, I prefer him over John Wall probably on FanDuel, just for the little bit of price reduction, and they're getting the same amount of minutes overall. You know, they're both probably going to play 30. So
yeah, okay. You got Boucher at 59. You know, we've already talked about him. I'm gonna contrast you a little bit. I think this is more of a Baines game than it is a Boucher game. We've just seen in this matchup, I just think Baines matches up better with Joval than Boucher does because when they get these defensive centers in there, they tend to back Boucher off. Do you second my notion? Do you agree with that?
Do you think Val is a defensive center?
Decent, not great. Obviously, he's not a Joe kick or anybody like that. What do you think?
I mean, I think you're going to get zero ownership on Baines on both sites. So,
No, I agree.
I think you can definitely go there.
I just think it's a GPP play.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Super cheap.
I'm on the boost here. I don't know what Baines price. What's Baines price on FanDuel? If it's like 3,500, then yeah, you can definitely play him over.
43. I probably still wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean he's 39 on DraftKings. I'd prefer it there. And then you're also giving up Cousins on FanDuel, so
definitely not a FanDuel play for sure.
Yeah. Even in GPP, I don't think I'd get to Baines on FanDuel. I'd for sure on DraftKings. He's 3,900. Like you can definitely go there. He's shown upside in minutes many times. So like over the last couple weeks, just like Boucher.
Yep.
Obviously, just set a rule that you're not getting Baines and
Boucher
in the same lineup.
For sure.
That's definitely not good. Don't do that.
So let's see what else is popping out. You already talked about slow mo. Didn't Xavier Tillman start the other day? Am I right about that?
I don't think he started next to Joval.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but
he was starting before Joval, but then they even like moved him to the bench right before Joval came back. I don't have that refreshed. Yeah, maybe they'd see. Oh, because Brandon Clark's out. That's why. Brandon Clark's out, so that's why Xavier Tillman was starting. That's why you saw that.
Gotcha. Okay. Is Brandon Clark still out, or is he back today?
He's out, and like, yeah, it already says he's out.
Okay.
Also, are these injuries like just right here? Yeah, pay attention to who starts for this team. Because how many minutes did Melton play last game? Or was Melton still out last game? 2-6. Melton got hurt, played 14 minutes. Okay, and then did Clark even play last game? No,
yeah,
Clark did not play last game.
Decent.
Who? What?
Desmond Bain. He's been playing pretty decent.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's stepping into that DeAnthony Melton role now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see their game flow because how many players got into this damn game? Memphis Storm Pelicans. Yeah. So Tillman, Brooks, Bryant, Kyle Anderson, Georgie Dang started. Joval came off the bench. I would expect to see Joval come back into the starting lineup today, and Gorgie Jang probably goes back to the bench. So I expect Xavier Tillman to still start, with Brandon Clark out still. Desmond Bain and Ja got some time together, and then got the end of the second quarter together too. Who closed out the game? Dylan Brooks closed. Kyle Anderson, J-Val, and the mix of like Tyus Jones and Xavier Tillman a little bit. Okay. The minutes suck over here. Like this is nuts.
Yeah.
Like there's no one in like the only people that are in the teens are DeAnthony Melton and Desmond Bain, and that's because everyone else has at least 20 minutes, like at least 21 minutes. Like this is garbage. Yeah, I don't want.
You could just stay away from it.
I can't. It's not like when I first said it when San Antonio and Memphis did this in the same game. And I've been saying this about Memphis for weeks. But even when Ja came back, I was like, okay, things could change. They could go back to what they were doing at the beginning of the year, giving Kyle Anderson 35 minutes, giving Brooks 35 minutes, giving Morant 35 minutes, like all these 35-minute plus people. Jay Bowles getting 30, 32, which was big for him because he usually played in the high 20s. Like all this, and then Morant comes back, and they're like, you know what? This is working fine. We're getting everyone minutes. We're just gonna keep doing this shit. I just can't play anyone from Memphis. Let's just move on. We've talked way too much about this game.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up we've got the Wizards taking on the Bulls. The Bulls are 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is the highest on the slate at 239.
Yeah, I'm not surprised it's the highest on the slate. So on
Zero
DK,
defense.
on DK, Westbrook is questionable. Oh, it says he'll be available. Okay, that's why you look more into that before you just say things. The biggest news from this is that Lauri Markkanen is out 2 to 4 weeks, so I think Patrick Williams is just a full go again. How much is Patrick Williams on FanDuel?
He
He is 4,500. Play him in cash. Don't overthink it. Just play him in cash. He's gonna get you. He could get you 30 most of the time. With this, how this is starting. Don't play Thad Young at 6,700 on both sites. Just don't. I'm gonna keep saying that every single time. Don't do it.
Yeah, he's super priced up now.
I don't know what the hell Washington's doing with their centers. Obviously Alex Len was chalk the other day, and for good reason. Just came off this big game against Miami. He was going to start, and then he plays 8 minutes at starting. So Alex Len chalk is like always devastating to me. Like, and there'll always be a slate or 2 or 5 every single year that he is chalk. And every other year there'll be a chalk Alex Len game where he actually goes off, and everyone clamors for that one. He'll get 50 fucking points, and he'll do it in like 22 minutes in a starting role, and then he'll be chalk the next time, and he'll play 6 minutes and never see the court again. I don't understand what coaches do with him, if it's like a joke to them too. I have no fucking idea. Whoever starts, I don't fucking care. I'm not playing Alex Len again. Maybe I could definitely play him on DraftKings. I have no idea. Like it's another great matchup, just like it was against the Hornets. So I don't know. If Alex Len starts, I'll probably get roped into it again on DraftKings, but it's just because he's a good cash play. Bradley Beal at 9K is fantastic. Prefer him over Zach LaVine. Westbrook 8,600. They said he's playing.
They did.
I don't know how you get away from. Yeah, he'll available.
Oh wow, awesome. I thought he was gonna sit today.
I thought he was too because it's a back-to-back. But they already said he'll be available. He only played 28 minutes the other day, I think.
I've got.
Yeah, he played 28 minutes.
Yep, 28.
Yesterday. So I expect him to get a full run of minutes, like see his 32 to 34 that he's used to getting in a competitive game, maybe a tad more, but I expect 32 to 34. And if you're getting 32 to 34 minutes of Westbrook at 8,600, I don't know how you're getting off that in cash. That's just a really good play to me. Patrick Williams at 5,100 is okay on DraftKings. I'm not in love with it, but I think you can definitely get there, and I don't mind it. With Markkanen out, this dude's going to be able to see all the shots he can handle, and then also I don't know who is going to be able to guard him. Like, I'm not saying like Rui's some good defender. Like, I think he's decent, but like he's just like a third-year player, and Patrick Williams is a rookie. Like, hey, cool. Denzel Valentine could start. Otto Porter's still out.
Yeah, he's projected to start.
So, how much is he on FanDuel?
He is
he's 4,400. Probably just play him too. Yeah, you're probably just gonna play him on FanDuel too. 4,800 on DraftKings is a little bit different, but I kind of still like him. I wish he was shooting guard small forward, but that's fine. The rest of this game is kind of like meh. Yeah, I'm not really like seeing a lot. If you got to a Robin Lopez, if he's starting, fine. He's 3,700. I don't mind it. It's a really good matchup for him, but they could not want to play a traditional center. So, for me, it's Bradley Beal or Westbrook or both if you can get them. It's Valentine. It's Patrick Williams.
Yeah,
kind of that's about it.
I really like Patrick Williams a lot. And then on FanDuel side of things, you got Beal still priced up at
10.8.
Westbrook is 97, and then LaVine is 88.
Yeah,
so
those are
Those
Think
are
about
studs.
that's you're saving like 2,900 on DraftKings over the FanDuel prices. Like that's
Crazy.
nuts.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
They got your boy Thad Young all the way up to 7,200 on FanDuel.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Garbage.
Don't play him.
And then you do have Howell Neto. He's back, so that's obviously Ish Smith. None of those guys are in play.
I don't play any of that.
Yeah, this rest of this game is kind of pass.
If we like I say, if we get news somehow, I know they've already said that Westbrook is available to play. If we get news somehow that he's not going to be available to play, they could obviously change any of this at any given time. People go from out to questionable to out all day long. It doesn't matter. I just said it. Russell Westbrook out Monday. Like I'm just talking about it. Okay, play Bradley Beal on DraftKings. Like literally was just saying this. There's the news.
I thought he was gonna play.
That's what I was just saying. People go from in to out and out to in all day long. Westbrook is out. Play Bradley Beal on DraftKings. Oh man,
it's crazy. What about on FanDuel?
Okay,
it's still a bit different story.
Okay, 10-8 on FanDuel. You can just not. You don't have to do that. You can play him. But 9K on I don't know if he'll be chalky at 10-8. That's a big price tag to pay for Beal.
Yeah, they're saying he's gonna get like 15 to about 15%. So he'll probably be like 30.
Yeah, I maybe. Let's see. Eric Gordon out Monday too. That doesn't really.
Okay, so let's talk about this really quick since they just listed him as doubtful and he's out. But so it's Ish Smith and Howell Neto. Now.
Yeah.
They're both gonna split. I think Ish Smith is definitely the better player.
I mean, it depends on who starts. If Raw Neto starts, he's 3K on DraftKings, and you're not gonna get away from that. And then Ish Smith at 5K, I don't really care about. He hasn't shown it this year, even in a starting role. Even like he's not getting like last year when people were out for this team and Ish Smith would start, he'd get 38 minutes. He's gotten 27 like at the tops all year. So I don't know if he starts. I like him. I mean, I can get behind him. What's Ish Smith on?
4,800, and then Howell Neto is 38.
Yeah, so whoever starts on FanDuel, I can end up getting behind. On DraftKings, if Ish Smith starts, I don't really care. If Raul Neto starts, then I really care because he's 3K and has dual position eligibility. Honestly, on DraftKings, I can see playing Raul Neto regardless. He's 3K. No Westbrook. He's going to see, if he comes off the bench, I expect him to see 20, upwards of like 25 to 28 minutes potentially in the right scenario. Probably 20 to 24 in the most scenarios. He's 3K. If he gets you 18, that's 6x, and you're pretty happy about it. Not for tournaments. You need like 30 from him for tournaments. But it's like he's 3K. Like I don't know. He's in cash game consideration for sure. Really on both sites. A lot more on DraftKings, but I think that's all we need to talk about in this game.
Yeah.
Just watch who starts.
Glad we got that while we're on the air. Sounds good. I think we can move on.
Okay. Well.
Seriously.
John Wall's out.
Okay. Let's go circle back.
Oladipo is what price? 7,900 on FanDuel and 8,100 on DraftKings. Really like that. Like I know they're with no Eric Gordon, with no John Wall. Now I have to so Oladipo is gonna be the point guard. I'm
gonna go.
Kevin Porter's is kind of Kevin Porter's in the G League bubble, so that doesn't matter. Got Mason Jones still there. You've got McLemore. We just have to see who starts. It's Oladipo's obviously going to be the point guard. If you get David Nwaba starting, you could see that. I don't expect David Nwaba to get a ton of minutes though because he's still coming with this ankle injury. Really, it's McLemore. I hope is starting because he's 3K flat and he's started for them before. I think Jayshawn Tate at 4,800 isn't bad with all this usage going to be around. Watch for Sterling Brown. House should still be in the starting lineup. So now I like Cousins insanely more on FanDuel or DraftKings. This went from, okay, we have everybody healthy. We had this kind of game 2 days ago. Cousins got 35, K 7100. Now Cousins just becomes a lock and load on DraftKings because this usage is going to trickle down to him.
Yep.
It's going to be Oladipo and then Cousins in the starting unit, and you can see extra assists from Cousins. You can see extra everything. So Cousins play on both sites. Don't even think about it now. Be 100% in tournaments. Like this is like a lock button play for me on both sites if I'm playing tournaments. Like this could be 100% play, like for real, even at his elevated price tag. FanDuel's not elevated, but even on DraftKings. So I think him and Beal are the two pieces that you want to start with in every build. Get a Neto if he's starting, get a Mclemore if he's starting, and just continue to get studs. That's really the slate is turning into. Rozier also on both sides is really good. So let's move on to either Minnesota, Dallas, or Golden State, San Antonio, whatever you want to talk about.
One more play. I do want to talk about PJ Tucker. He's 3,700. I'd say he's probably gonna be a little bit chalky because he's gonna have to. They need scores, and forwards destroy the Hornets. So talk about him really quick.
So okay, PJ Tucker is a guy that you can always play and hope for a good game because he's always gonna play minutes. He actually has been down in minutes here recently. I expect his minutes to come back up a little bit tonight. This was a dude that you always were like, he's gonna play 38 minutes and get me 10 fantasy points. So, you can, but nowhere near my cash lineup, and that makes it in tournaments for me with PJ Tucker. If Cousins was also out, then PJ Tucker, then I'm like, okay, this could be a PJ Tucker game. He's going to be at that fifth spot right there. When he's at the center, he's an size center obviously, but when he's at that center role, that's what I like him more. When everybody in that front court is out, I like him then. But tonight, it's not there's better plays.
Gotcha. Do you want to talk about Jae'Sean Tate at all? It's 5,200.
How much is he on FanDuel? 5,200. Yeah, no, I like him more on DraftKings.
Okay, cool.
And really, he's not a priority at all.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on, man. We talked enough about that. They took the damn game off the board too. I was gonna go hammer Oladipo props. They took it off
you gotta do that quick.
Yeah, I tried as soon as I got the news, but. All right. Anyways, we've got the Warriors taking on the Spurs. Spurs are 1.5 point favorites, and the over/under is 232.5.
Yeah. So, we've got Curry and DeRozan priced up. I really was hoping Curry would still be in his 9Ks because this was going to be just another smash spot for him. But he's not. You could end up with Curry in your lineups tonight. There's a ton of value potentially opening up. So I don't hate Curry still at his elevated price tag, but I'd rather play like the Giannis's and the Jokic's because that's a really competitive game that I could see, being really close. And Giannis and obviously Jokic's going to play full. I'll go ahead and say this: since we have all this value, I know this is a different game. We have all this value. If Jamal Murray, Gary Harris is already out. Jamal Murray's questionable. If we get Jokic by himself against Milwaukee, play fucking Jokic on DraftKings. You're not playing him on FanDuel because of Cousins, but on DraftKings, play Cousins, play Jokic, move on with your lineup. So continuing on this game, DeRozan 7,700. He's got like 3 good games underneath his belt. Playing more minutes. Obviously, he was going to play bad minutes when we played him, and then he plays 40 and 37 because he's fuck. But that doesn't take away that he's a decent play. Probably not for me. 7,700 is a little bit too priced up for him, so not really going there. Draymond Green's resurgence, I think, is not going to come to an end, but for DFS, it's going to. I don't expect him to get 42 and 48 points per night. I expect him to be around his 30 to 37-ish, and 6,800 on DraftKings is just too much for Draymond Green. I think there's too much variance there.
God, he's priced up.
Really, this whole game is kind of overpriced for anything that I want, so it's kind of just a stay away spot for me for cash.
Yeah, I get it, man. I cannot believe this. Draymond Green is 7,300. What? This is not 2016.
Yeah, it's just you still have Wiggins. If Wiggins or Oubre was also out, then I'm kind of starting to get more into it. But yeah,
but I will say he is getting a lot more run at the 5. You know, I mean, dude,
Oh
the
yeah, the
dude
5
dropped
is super
15
beneficial to him.
dimes. That's insane. But yeah, I
I,
just can't. I couldn't
the
get
thing
there.
is, I can see Poeltl giving him some problems.
I
Poeltl's
agree.
a traditional center. He's a pretty good defensive center. I can see him getting Draymond into a couple fouls, offensively and defensively. So I don't think he's gonna be chalky or anything anyway. So this isn't a hot take. Um, I just wouldn't play Draymond in cash or really GPP. I think he's losing his upside and in his price.
Yeah, I agree. You're paying and hoping that he hits a ceiling game like he did the other day.
Yeah.
It's luck. Yeah. So what do you think about DDR? He's 8,100 on FanDuel.
DDR on FanDuel. Yeah, he's you said he's 8,100, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he's just don't play him because he's shooting guard, right? You're gonna play Oladipo.
Yep.
Yeah, Oladipo's a superior play to DDR.
You could play both.
Moving on, you could. I don't want to pay that much for DeRozan on this slate.
Yeah.
There's other studs that I want to get to.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's move on. What do you think about Jakob Poeltl at 58 on FanDuel?
Oh God, no.
Too much?
Yeah, too much. Other better centers. Like
Yeah, for sure.
he's a couple centers down the line of who I would play.
Okay. Anything else stick out to you here?
Not at all.
None? Okay. You want to move on?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next game, we've got the Timberwolves taking on the Mavericks. The Mavs are 9.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 225.5.
Yeah. Luka's 11K again. Luka's always in play, but I'd rather have Giannis and or Jokic. Instead of Luka on this slate, like instead of Curry, it's the same thing. So I don't want Luka. Towns is doubtful, so I don't think he plays today. I think you see him. I thought you were gonna see him, end of last week, but apparently COVID-19 turned into a month-long thing for him. I think that it's because I know he's back practicing. The coach already said that he wants to get him plenty of practice time before he gets back on the court. This is their star, so they're not going to rush him out. He's also obviously had a hard year with COVID too, so not only physically draining but mentally as well for Towns. So as soon as he gets back to the court, he's going to be a really good play anytime he's under 10K again. He's just going to get you 50 every single night. And this is the thing to talk about Towns just real quick too. Once Towns does come back, I expect him to get full run. The first game back, like I'm hoping that DraftKings or FanDuel fucks up and prices him like mid 9Ks for his first game back. I don't know if they will, but they're getting close with this 9,900. If he gets 9,500 and we hear him coming back, I think he's a phenomenal play to be over the field in GPP on. He could even catch a lot of cash game ownership at that price just because there's reports that have already been out saying that the coach is getting him plenty of practice time before he comes in so that he's in game shape. That all spells out, hey, we can play you full minutes. Remember, Butler didn't have a minutes limit when he came back. It was the same kind of thing. So I can see Towns like having the same treatment. But moving on with the rest of this game, look out for D'Angelo Russell being in or out. He's questionable. I expect him to play tonight. I don't care about his price tag. If he's out, I think you can again play Anthony Edwards. If D'Angelo Russell's out, I think Anthony Edwards is always a good play. He just gets more minutes. And then the rest of this game is just like kind of whatever. Maxi Kleber isn't bad at 4,500. He's getting big minutes since he came back in like competitive games. Got 34 points the other day against Golden State. Obviously, Golden State's against centers, is always a thing. If Kleber keeps starting down there at the 4 or 5, like I don't mind him. I mean, on the off chance that Porzingis rests today or Luka rests, just because of how bad this game is, you can look at obviously if Luka's out, then you can play Brunson and any who is it, Trey Burke, and if Porzingis is out, you can play Willie Cauley-Stein, that kind of stuff. Just watch out for that news, just because teams love to rest their stars against in a really bad matchup. So, but besides that, that's all I have for that game.
Gotcha. Yeah, Luka's projecting to be super chalk, at least on FanDuel. Like at least
I don't like
50%.
Luka chalk. In a game that I expect to not be super competitive when I'm paying up for him, I don't think that's a smart play.
Yeah, it has blowout written all over it. and that's what
Yeah.
Vegas thinks too. So, all right, dude. If you don't like anything else here,
Yeah, I mean the spread's almost 10 points. Like
yeah,
I mean,
it will be 10 points by the time game time is there.
it probably will. It'll move up throughout the day as long as Porzingis and Luka don't get ruled out, and especially if D'Angelo Russell gets ruled out, I don't think you can play Luka for sure. I don't know
Agreed.
how you could.
Yep, I agree. All right, man. We can move on. We got a banger up next. We got the Cavs taking on the Suns. Suns are 7.5-point favorites. The over/under is the lowest on the slate at 215.
Yeah. Booker like just blew up against Boston. Like I played him on DK. Booker competitive games at 7,400. Play him all the time. This is not a competitive game. I can see being over the field on Booker though at 7,400. Cleveland has found ways to get competitive. So Sexton at 7,100 is Aiden at 6,900. I feel he's just too cheap in these upper 6Ks. I expect him to be more in the mid sevens. So I don't mind getting to him, but there's also better centers. Garland at 6,200 I think is a little bit too much. Really this whole game is kind of just meh. Like Frank Kaminsky used to be a thing of like if you expected a blowout or anything like that, you could get to him because he would just come in off the bench and do well. He's starting now and they're still only giving him like 20 minutes, so nah. Really this whole game is not cash viable.
Yeah, it's going to be played at a super slow pace, too. For sure.
Yeah, the pace is terrible.
Yeah, it is going to be bad. I'm trying to see if anybody's really catching much ownership. Man, Drummond is still 72 on FanDuel.
And you're not playing him over
Yeah, I know.
Cousins.
Yeah, for sure.
Warren Prince is the only one getting some ownership on DK, and I can see it. He's 4,300, but
yeah,
it just feels like a thin play.
For sure.
He could get you decent enough, but
he's out of play on FanDuel too. He's 5K. It's just not
yeah,
there. I don't really like target. We've been saying it all year. We don't really like targeting the Suns, so why are we gonna do it now?
Unless I have to. Yeah, not with Cleveland. I mean,
yep.
Good.
All right, let's move on, man. Let's not waste our time. We've got these two
an actual
banger. Are gonna be bangers. Man, you got the Bucks taking on the Nuggets. Bucks are 4-point favorites, and the over/under is 232.5.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Jamal Murray plays, because I think it helps the overall game.
Definitely.
But looking on DraftKings, Jokic is in play. Giannis is in play. Like again, competitive game with Giannis. Like he can get. We've already seen it. He had 3 games in a row, 3 games in a row, 38, 39, and 39 points, minutes, and got you 63, 67, and 74 points. This can be the same thing. No one on Denver is going to guard Giannis. Jokic can try. I don't think they're going to want to do that though, because Jokic can foul out. Jokic by himself without Jamal Murray just spells a huge game for him. I expect these two stars to kind of duke it out. I like also Chris Middleton on DraftKings, 7,500 in a competitive game. This could be like a bounce back spot for him. This dude was in the 8Ks most of the time, doing really well, playing competitive games, and then they've had 4 blowouts in a row, where he hasn't played big minutes in. If this is competitive, 7,500 for Chris Middleton is way too cheap. So I do like that. On
he's
FanDuel, Chris
7,200.
Middleton is 7,200. Like that screams cash all over it. Holy hell!
He's not even catching that much ownership.
Wow, he's 7,200. Holy crap! I love him for cash on FanDuel. Really, the rest of this game though, the like bottom pieces of it is just meh. I don't really want any of it. I don't think a lot of these. I think like earlier in the day, for potentially having Raul Neto, potentially having Mecklemore and other Houston value and all these things. DJ Augustine could have been like just one of your punts. 3,300. Hopefully, get you like 15 to 20, and you just go with it to be able to get your studs. But now you don't need that. So it's really just it's Jokic, it's Giannis, it's Middleton.
Yep.
It's Jamal Murray and GBPs if he plays. That's it.
Dude, Michael Porter Jr. is 5,200 on FanDuel. Holy shit! In a competitive game.
This is a terrible matchup for him. Terrible. Giannis will eat him alive.
Yeah, I guess that's why they price him down. I get it.
But 5,200. I mean, isn't he small forward?
Yes, he's small forward.
Yeah, I don't know how you're playing him over Denzel Valentine or Middleton, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Completely
no,
my
I get
opinion.
it. I'm just throwing out things when I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Michael Porter Jr. is a good play at 5,200. I'm just terrified of this matchup for him.
Yeah, no, I get it. They're a really good defensive
Terrified.
team.
Well, no, it's not. I'm not worried about his offensive side. He'll score the basketball if he's out there. I'm worried about him being not on the court because of how bad his defense is, and not being able to guard Middleton, being able to guard Giannis. Those are the two people that he's going to really have to guard, and I don't see how he can guard either one of them.
Gotcha. So who's going to?
Oh, they'll pull people off the bench. Like, Jermichael Green, Millsap, all these people are pretty good defenders. They'll pull them off the bench. PJ Dozier's out, so it kind of hurts them a little bit. Really need Jamal Murray to play this game. I mean, Will Barton can play the 3 and guard Milton, and then Jermichael Green can play the 4, and they can switch Jermichael Green and Paul Millsap onto Giannis. Both of them have guarded him like fine in the past.
Okay.
Not like I'm saying that they're going to stop Giannis. I'm just saying like better than Michael Porter Jr. defense. So that's what I expect. I expect Will Barton to play a lot of 3. I expect him to use Gary Harris is still out, correct? Yeah, Gary Harris is still out. I expect you to see Monty Morris still starting. I expect as long as Jamal Murray's in, I expect Jamal Murray to start, Monty Morris to start, Will Barton, or like Michael Porter Jr. could be in this mix too. I don't know, but I really expect Jermichael Green or Paul Millsap to start, and then Jokic.
Well, the projected lineup.
That's who I expect their starters to be.
Projected as Murray, Barton, Porter, Millsap, and Jokic.
That could be it too. That could easily be it too. But I just think that that probably will be the starting lineup. But I expect most of the game to be is not have Porter on the field, unless he's just scoring a ton and.
You cut out on us a little bit. What did you say?
I don't expect Porter to get a ton of minutes in this game.
Yeah, I got you. I don't hate Barton, man. But like you said, I don't know how you play him. He's small forward. He's 4,800. He's catching a little bit of ownership.
As he should.
Yeah, but there are better options for sure. But would you play Giannis and Middleton in the same lineup, or would you have Giannis and then run it back on the other side? Like, what do you think? You got to have someone keep it competitive for Giannis to stay in the game.
Oh, it's Jokic. It's Jokic. That's it.
Gotcha. On Draftkings, yeah, you can do that.
If you're talking about FanDuel, I don't know who you're running it back with. I don't think
probably
you have to.
Don't. Yeah, not on FanDuel.
On Draftkings, Jokic and Giannis get there is nutty, but I don't think you're going to get there. I think you have to pick one or the other. And really, I don't mind getting Jokic and Milton. I think you can probably do that with like Beal and Cousins. And yeah, you can. I mean, if Neto starts, like, and McLemore, there's a lot of stuff you can get to. Like, put Neto, you put McLemore starting, like all that. You have 46.50 left if you've been following around what I've been doing. So I mean, you can easily do a lineup like that. So
okay, cool. I just wanted to see what you thought about that. Do you have anything else from this game? Hopefully Murray plays. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully Murray plays.
I'm gonna actually watch that game tonight. That's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, really good.
All right. Last game on the slate. We've got the Thunder taking on the Lakers. Lakers are 10.5-point favorites, and the over/under is 219.
I don't want anything from this game. There you go.
Great. All right, so we're done. All right, thanks. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but obviously LeBron and AD, Shea, you can all play in GPPs.
Anthony Davis.
Theo Maledon's back out. Diallo's priced up. Baisley's priced up. Actually, Baisley's probably just where he should be, but tough as shit matchup. Dort's back. You're not playing any of these other like low people. Like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, you could play in a GPP if you think he's gonna have one of his games. Like Alex Caruso, you could play in GPPs if you think he's gonna do well. But really, this whole game is just there's no reason to play any of these pieces at all. Anthony Davis is the only one I would consider anywhere, and because he's 9,600.
He's not gonna play. He's not gonna play.
Well, okay, if Anthony Davis sits, then it changes the game.
Yeah, he's already projected
to sit out.
Yes.
But I mean, LeBron at 10.5. I'd rather have Giannis. I'd rather have Jokic.
Agreed.
He's probably the third, just because it is that way. Horford then at 6,300 isn't bad because he's not having to go against AD all the time. Gasol's still a good defender, Kyle Kuzma at 5,200. Still, he's priced up more than I want to be. Montrezl Harrell is 5,300. That's the other one I could see getting to. But again, if you're going Jokic and Cousins, I don't know how you're getting to Montrezl Harrell. So I don't know how you're getting to Horford. I don't know how you're getting to any
You're
of that.
not. You're not.
Yeah, exactly. You're not. So really, the AD news really doesn't change much.
Yeah, agreed. It just bumps Kuzma into the starting lineup. That's pretty much it. And Kuzma's 4,900 on FanDuel. He's power forward. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not like a great play by any means. But I will say, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the NBA guru here. This is why we have Zach. But they're gonna if they blow out, they're gonna let Kuz play some big minutes here. They don't give a shit. Kuz could blow up here. Wrong?
Yeah, he could. He's just not a how much is he on FanDuel? Sorry if you said that, I missed it.
49.
Yeah, he could be your other power forward if you're paying up for a lot of other stuff. Because I mean, you're obviously playing Patrick Williams. I haven't looked at the rest of the power forwards. I don't mind Kuzma at 40. He's cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings, so obviously don't mind that.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to see anything else. We've always targeted like Schroeder if one of the bigs are out for the Lakers. I don't hate him. He's 5,400. I'm trying to see what else sticks out to me on FanDuel. That is.
Sorry, I'm reading an email, so
you're good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You're not playing Marc Gasol, even though he's grading out to be, pretty decent. He's just center only, and he's 3,500. But it's just opportunity cost. You're just sticking in Cousins. That is pretty much all I see here. So let's kind of recap, Zach. If you're good now, we're done. Just give us some, macro thoughts on the slate. We got a lot of news while we were on, so that's good. We were able to talk through some of that.
Look for the value in the starting lineups of Houston and Washington. Specifically Houston. Washington has one person out. Chicago too. Denzel Valentine and Patrick Williams. They're not the same level of value that the Houston and Washington is though. You can play Raw Neto on DraftKings no matter what. Bench or starting, it doesn't matter. He's 3K flat. You can play McLemore starting or on the bench 3K flat too. Much more like him starting. He's not cash viable at 3K, even at 3K if he's not starting because I don't know his minutes. If he's starting though, he's a lock and load. Play Beal at 9K, that's easy. Play Cousins, and then about it.
Awesome. Okay, all right. You want to do a flag plant for DraftKings, and then I'll hit one for FanDuel, and we'll get out of here.
I mean, it's Beal at 9K. That's just it's silly. It's a silly price. Like, yeah, I could say Cousins, but Beal's price is more silly than Cousins. Like, Cousins is actually priced appropriately, even though his people are out. Beal is just underpriced by like $1,500. Like, with Russell Westbrook out, this is a joke. Like, this is a joke with Russell Westbrook in. Like, he was in consideration regardless. Now he's just like a smash play. If you don't have Beal in cash, you're doing it wrong on DraftKings.
I agree. Yeah, I think I would have to go with Giannis, but that's pretty chalky. So I'm gonna bump it down to Depot. He's actually not getting that much ownership yet, but I expect that.
It'll change. It'll
definitely climb. So yeah, I like Depot a lot, and I'm gonna, as soon as his props come out, I'm gonna hammer them. DraftKings has a odds boost bet on. Let me show you this, Zach. See what you think. Giannis and Jokic to score over 54.5 combined points, plus 105.
I like it. I like it over.
I think so too, for sure. I'm probably gonna hit that. So. Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. We're going to get out of here. We are right at, about an hour. Yeah. So we're out, guys. Thanks for coming, and we will